What's up, Keith? Robert, Kevin. All right, we're gonna make this quick today. I almost had to not do this show. I got on a call a little while ago, and what I thought was gonna be 20 minutes ended up being over an hour and a half. But we will we'll do some free plays. We'll do a breakdown, and then I'm gonna bounce. What am I missing here? I can't see anything. Oh. Hopefully my contacts will be in today. All right, so since I can't go live for very long today, which is not, a lot of people look at it, it's like, oh, you're supposed to be going live and you're not. It's not like I'm just choosing not to. In a perfect world, like I schedule my days out pretty, almost militant like. But, things happen. It's a business. So things happen, issues arise, opportunities arise, and when you do, when something comes up, things change. And this is not something that I have to be doing. I choose to do it for you guys and to get as much free information out there as I can. So, but the conversation on the call that I had was actually really good. I'm hoping that it means that the NASCAR stuff that we're working on, that I didn't think the first leg of it was going to be done until mid to late July. Based on the call that I just had, number one, there was some software stuff that has to be done. That's just time consuming. They're already thinking now that they can get it done a little bit quicker. Then it's legality stuff. So once certain things pass, we get things signed off on, so on and so forth. But we didn't think we were even going to be in the position to push paperwork through until late June. We may be getting the first leg of this done and live for everyone by late May, which would be awesome, which means all of this stuff may be done by the end of the season. I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but what's up, everybody? All right, so let's do this. Let's go over a couple of things real quick. I'm going to look. Give me just a second. All right. I'll fast forward the video later. Okay. You do that. I think maybe just for that right there, I won't archive it. How about that? All right, let's see if this line's changed. I just bet a game a little while ago, and I bet it for just less than a premium play. So, Leon, and the only reason is because number one, it's a late game. From if everything happens the way that I think it will, probably around 2 o'clock Eastern time, they'll do a team shoot around, little workout, something like that, and then afterwards, we'll know who's actually dressing, if anybody's out, stuff like that. Um, the numbers say one thing, but my gut tells me another, and I feel like my gut's telling me another because I feel as though when I read all this stuff later this afternoon, it's going to point the way that my gut's telling me. So before that line changed, I went ahead and put just some fun money as a lean, a half unit, so 550 to win 500 on USC tonight. The Trojans. Southern Cal +5 over Arizona. Again, is Southern Cal better than Arizona? Depends on which way you look at it. I don't think so. I think that Arizona's got the more talented team. I think that Southern Cal is a more well-rounded team. They're younger, but I said at the beginning of the year that besides Oregon, I thought that Southern Cal was the best team in the Pac-12. Arizona just has a little more experience. They've got a little more size down low, and they can play a little bit faster. But USC tonight, it wouldn't surprise me one bit USC wins this game and it's not close. Catching 5 points, in my opinion, is just too much. And I may read a report later on and it may make perfect sense, but I just don't see it. And I also don't see that it being a 5-point spread at game time. So I caught 5 points while I could. Colorado and Ohio State on upset alert. Care to elaborate on Ohio State being on upset alert to Nebraska? And I'm not being a smartass when I ask that. If you think that, awesome. I'm curious to know the thought process there. Everybody's on upset every night, but are the coaches we heard about earlier this year going to get or be in any trouble? Do you think? Which ones? What are we talking about? What sport? And guys, in a few minutes when I hop out of here, make sure y'all go check out. I'm pretty sure that Kyle will do a live show for Cappers Direct today. Hell, he should be doing one anytime now. Hold on, let me text him. I don't know if Self will get in much trouble. I mean, because the thing is, the NCAA is always very careful what they do with coaches that are bringing in a lot of revenue for the NCAA. You know, right now Kansas basketball is the hottest thing out. You know, you always have your Dukes, your North Carolinas, your stuff like that. But let's face it, North Carolina's had the worst year they've had since the 1950s, and the worst part about it is it's just so stupid. I mean, you're talking 5 games that they should have won that they were all damn near buzzer beaters. 2 of which they absolutely just got cheated. And, nobody would be sitting there having this conversation if things had gone different for a total of 20 seconds. But Duke, I mean, their biggest storyline is the fact that they play like the number 1 team in the country and then they keep dropping to nobodies. So I don't think Self will get. I mean, if he does, I don't think it'll be anything that will be worthy of talking about a week later. First 4 games are MLB, next 4 games are NHL, last 4. I don't know what you're talking about. If you are betting preseason baseball, you have bumped your head. It's my channel. I can promote whoever I want, and I'm just going to assume that you don't know him, and or else you probably wouldn't be making stupid fucking remarks like that. So I'm going to remove this. That's your one warning. Yeah, who knows? I don't. The last thing that I want to do is make an educated guess on something, and because it's something like the feds are involved, it could go completely the opposite way, and I just on stuff like that when there's just so much unknown there, I tend to try to keep my opinion out of it, at least on a large scale where I'm talking to a lot of people. That way, my words don't get misconstrued. Because Jesus Christ, if I mention the name Red Sox, apparently I'm accused of saying that I'm going to be the next manager. So God knows what I could say about an active investigation, in college basketball, and you know how it would come back on me. So I'm just gonna refrain from saying anything about that. I'd still like to know why. Can't trust somebody to cover anything. Why somebody thinks that Ohio State's on upset alert. I mean, anybody's on upset alert every night in conference play. That's just a given, but that's just kind of a general rule of thumb. Somebody's going to actually tell me that Ohio State's truly primed for an upset against Nebraska. I'd like to know why. Because just taking a stab at it and hoping that you're right because it's happened multiple times this year, I wouldn't call that upset alert. I would call that lucky. Oh no, Keith, I'm saying it's not that I can't say anything about it. I'm gonna refrain from saying anything about it because the last thing I want to do is, just give my opinion, which again means nothing when it comes to something like that, and then it go in a completely different direction. And then sure as the world, I've got trolls on YouTube who have nothing to do in their pathetic existence of a life to come back out and say that I said that something. It puts me in a position that I'd just rather not be in. But that's my choice. It's not that you did anything. If I wanted to talk about it, I could. There's nothing saying I can't. It's public information, so. All right, I just text him, and so he's actually doing it. They're doing some new platform stuff, and they're doing their live show today on cappersdirect.com. I think that's all that new software they got that they're doing that. I don't know. I could be wrong. So when you guys are done here, go to cappersdirect.com, and he's actually going to be live directly on their site for their live show. I heard that as well. Don't know what that's referring to. He holds you hostage. Don't know what that means. So, I'm trying to respond to the chat, but half the stuff I don't even know what you guys are talking about. All right, so we did one free play. Well, it's a free lean at this point. I mean, I'm not going to lock it in as a premium or anything like that until later this afternoon. It's a late game, and information will come out, but it's not going to be for another couple of hours at least. So it is what it is for now. I'll have to leave it at that. Chase, what's up? Where did you get that? I don't want to buy it. I think Johnny T-shirt in Chapel Hill. It was either that or I got it from Lids. It's the only other place I can think of. I'll buy it directly from Nike sometimes when they do the Jordan affiliation blowout stuff. Like when they do new promotions and they're pushing it out like his affiliation in North Carolina. So they'll release new stuff and Nike will put it on their website for a few days and I get alerts for that. Man, I have so many hats. When I buy hats, and I do it every month, I tend to buy, I don't just buy one. I buy many. I think I got this one at Johnny T-shirt though, which is a very, very, it's a staple in Chapel Hill. You want Carolina gear, stuff that you can't find anywhere else, that's where you go. All right, let's see. You get extended if it's been a losing 3-day period based on what I've given out, and that's following the system. So flat betting the premiums, doing the same thing on the top plays, or not, or stepping out of the top plays just like the instructions say. I mean, the system monitors everything based on my bets, which is exactly what I do. So if it's in the green, no. And if you're down, it would be because of not betting correctly or betting something else or laying off of something. If it's still in the red, then yes, it will do it automatically. But right now, it's not in the red. It is in the green since the game of the week. They do. Now, a lot of that stuff, if you see it on there and they say that it's not available for online purchase, all you have to do is call them. Tell them what you're looking for, and they can still ship it and do a purchase over the phone. There's just some of the stuff that because they don't do a ton of business online. I mean, hell, they've been in Chapel Hill for, I mean, what seems like 100 years, and they do so much, business in store that they don't need online like most people do. So half the time they don't even set up. I mean, they'll put it on the website to show that they have it, and it'll say it's not available for purchase on the website, in-store only. Don't believe that. Just call them, tell them what you're looking for. It'll have a SKU number. They'll tell you if they've got your size or whatever you're looking for, and they'll just take your information over the phone and ship it to you. I've done that plenty of times. No. No, 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 no. God, for the love of God, please do not be betting spring training baseball. If you are, then you have bumped your head. This is what separates Mitch Wilson from everyone. No dead air time. If you don't like it, you can not watch. Steven, if you want it that bad, I'm pretty sure you could probably get it at Lids or Champs. You're not going to get it up there, but you could get it online. You better get it now, though. Once basketball season ends, a lot of this stuff will be harder to get. And they'll just have what's out for football, what you see them wearing on the sidelines. Which some of that stuff's pretty sweet, too. What's up, guys? All right. I think that's it. Keith, I mean, that's a good question. I know that they do events all year round, but as far as like the stuff that you're going to want to bet on, no. It's seasonal. It's mainly spring, late spring going into summer. where you have like Preakness and your Kentucky Derby and all that stuff, and you make all your money. But they have stuff like the Carolina Cup, and I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know anything about horse racing, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the shit out of horse racing. I like going to them. I like betting on them. Um, I'll be honest with you. I've started learning a good bit about these horse. I'll tell you what I like. One of the coolest things ever is going to an event and meeting some of these horse owners, and just talking business. I mean, just the passion they have for them. Like they like horses, like I like baseball. So that's fun. I'm glad to be bringing on somebody that truly understands that field. And he doesn't just do it, he doesn't just understand the gambling side of it. Like, he's really into horses. He's owned a horse before. He actually owns a percentage of a horse that does something. I don't know. But like he's in it. Like, this shit's his life. It's like, you don't see handicappers in the industry that, you know, go out and are involved in their sport of choice or sports, whatever. They might go to a game every now and again, but you don't see them getting involved in the sports. When you do, you found the right people. Just like Patrick. I mean, he's been working for NASCAR for 15 years. I heard we got some new NASCAR experts all of a sudden. Got brought to my attention. I said, it's funny how nobody mentions a word about NASCAR, and then all of a sudden, not only are they talking about it, they're going to sell plays. I didn't know you could become an expert in one of the hardest sports out there in a matter of a good night's sleep. You did a 7-game parlay and the heat under hurt you. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. What hurt you is the fact that you did a 17 parlay. If you're doing 17 parlays and you're like, oh, this game screwed me, I mean, that's ridiculous. Parlays are a death trap. Hey, you want to know something? I was telling one of my customers the other day. I hit a 16 parlay Monday night. Guess what? It was luck. That's why I didn't come on video and be like, oh, I won a 16 parlay. It was a fluke. I did a 16 money line parlay for shits and giggles because a local guy that I use, we do settle ups on Monday, and he owed me 200 more than he had on him, and he didn't realize it. So I was like, well, just keep the 200. I said, just roll the 200. And he's like, all right. He's like, or if you want to play it on something, let me know. And I just decided to throw it on a 16 parlay, money line, and it hit. It's a fluke, though. Keith, I think horse racing's coming back. I think that the people that are heavily involved in stuff like horse racing and then like what's going on with NASCAR, the problem for so many years was they were targeting the wrong people. Their target audience was, NASCAR went from like the everyman sport. Like there was no more blue collar sport, I guess, if that's a good way to word it. So you go out there, you have a good time, they spend money, and your sport thrives for decades and decades, and then all of a sudden, it cost. And the thing is, I wasn't a NASCAR fan. I mean, I obviously I wasn't oblivious to it. I mean, like I said, I went to races over the years. Hell, I've been to Darlington a few times. I've been to Charlotte a few times. Hell, I've even been to the All-Star race. I enjoyed going. I just didn't care about the sport. But I did realize that, at one time you were going to a race for $30, $40, and then all of a sudden it's $200 to have shit seats. You want to get into the infield or something like that. I mean, you're talking a few $1,000 weekend, and it's like the people that actually like NASCAR for what it is, for the sport, not for money or anything like that, for the sport, they don't have that money. And even if they did, you got to think about travel time and stuff. It's not like NASCAR tracks are just, on every corner. A lot of times they're out in the middle of absolute nowhere. And they happen once, twice a year. So they hurt themselves. They got greedy. They targeted the people that were paying sponsorships and stuff, but not the people that were putting asses in seats. And now they've had to start over, and now they're not targeting. I mean, now they're targeting college kids and gambling, and horse racing starting to target a younger audience as well. And that really started in college. I mean, because hell, even in my college years, horse racing like the Carolina Cup and stuff like that, it was one big drunken tailgate with college kids wearing khakis and bow ties and girls wearing big hats, and they thought it was cool, and it was. But they're also rubbing elbows with people that are walking around betting hundreds of thousands of dollars on a horse that they've got millions in. It's almost like these, fake it till you make it. Now they're becoming a little more not so prude, I guess you could say. And I think it'll be good for them. It is $50, Alex, and it's not a weekend. It's one race. He does not release Xfinity races or truck races. He only does the Cup races. So one race a week, and it's $50, and you get every pick that he has, every head-to-head, premium, top, play, everything, and then his prediction for who's going to win the race, and you get that $50. And if you want the season, it is $500. And there are 34 races to go. He hasn't lost a single pick yet. 2 races in, he's picked a race winner in each one, and all 6 head-to-heads have won. Hey, Danny, we're going to be in Homestead. If you're being serious about going to Homestead, Miami for the last race season, we will be there. The only way I wouldn't be there is if the Cubs are in the World Series. I tell you what, guys, I'm going to need your help. So these so-called NASCAR cappers, I already got one I'm about to get all up in his ass. Him and I are about to get real acquainted, or he's about to get acquainted with my legal team. I've already had the NASCAR picks stolen. And the thing is, if you're going to be a thief, don't be a lazy one. At least write your own write-up and try to make it, sound different. I mean, don't blatantly go out there and put exactly what we have. So we've encrypted a few things to where if somebody buys and they get in and they try to take the information and then resell it, we can find out about it. But with these new NASCAR experts that are popping up all of a sudden, hadn't heard a word about NASCAR in, the whole 6 months that they've been a expert, I don't get it. How somebody can come out from under the woodworks and they're, here they are, they're an expert, and people buy into that and they do their thing, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 2 races into the season. Oh, by the way, I do NASCAR now. I'm a NASCAR expert. No, you're just a redneck who works for a greedy SOB. But anyways, I need you guys to keep an eye out for stuff like that, because we're going to keep releasing race cards, and I'm going to tell you this: nobody in the business, not a single capper in this business, has ever released race cards that are similar to the way Patrick does it. Not until recently, and that's because they were releasing our race card. It's funny how, we even released ours late on Sunday for a specific reason. Well, 2 reasons. Number one, he was reading through inspection reports for a race team. 163 pages of them. Because one of your top qualifying teams had to start at the back. He wanted to know what they failed inspection for, yada, 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 and he wanted it detailed. He understands this sport like the back of his hand. And he still went out. Just like Denny Hamlin. He had Denny Hamlin to win the Daytona 500. He started dead last. Now, granted, it's Daytona, so in a lap or 2, you can go from last to first if you draft right. If you're, catching the draft. But you can also go from first to dead last in, 2 miles. But we did that, and then I even pushed it back another 30 minutes just to try to see if this person was promoting a NASCAR package. Didn't say anything other than that morning saying, oh, NASCAR coming soon, digging in deep or whatever. And then when I posted it, sent the mass email, 7 minutes after that email got sent, something comes up across social media. And miraculously, the NASCAR card was posted. It's funny how you had the same picks as ours in the same order released within 7 minutes of each other. So, dude, we're not stupid. And then you brag about it afterwards, showing pictures of Joey Logano and all this stuff. Swear to God, dude, if I ever see you in public, I'll beat the fuck out of you. But now, so we've caught that person. Yes, you know the company that did it. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not that petty. But yes, y'all know the company. If you don't, then it means that y'all just, discovered sports consultants yesterday, because this company's been around for a hell of a long time. Let's put it to you this way. This company was around before I was born. But with these new bona fide, experts, the ones that became experts on Monday, I guess, or Sunday, I need y'all to keep an eye out, see what happens, because I'm telling you right now, let me find out that these people are doing something. I'd go flat broke to take care of it. Flat broke and live in a fucking box for the rest of my life. Princess, it won't be the Cubs in the World Series. I don't think that it would be. I think you took that out of context a little bit. I was saying that'd be the only reason I wouldn't be in Miami, but no, I don't believe the Cubs will be there. I think I've already made my prediction plenty of times. I've made it on my podcast. Hell, I made the prediction last year while the World Series was going on last year. I said the Dodgers would win it in 2020. That was my pick. I said the only teams that would keep up with them were probably the Astros and potentially the Yankees, because we had a feeling that Garrett Cole was going to end up there. Just like I said, I pretty much showed you where all the draft picks were going to go, or the free agents. And then I said, if they get Mookie, I said it's a lock. And they're going to get Mookie. Well, they got Mookie. And unless it's due to health, like they start getting riddled with injuries, the Dodgers are going to win because the Yankees are not the best team in baseball. They weren't the best team in baseball 6 weeks ago. Now they've got just some injuries. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton will probably be out half the season for God knows what. Judge will go through a pretty long injury stint. They'll still probably win the AL East, but I'm telling you, two teams that are better than the Yankees. That's not saying they'll beat them. I think the Yankees should go all the way this year and go to the World Series and then get annihilated by the Dodgers. But I'm going to tell you this. There's a team, y'all, I hate saying it, and y'all may hate me saying it. The Houston Astros are a better team than New York Yankees. They were, and they still are. The only thing so far, Steven, is I put a little bit of fun money on Southern Cal +5. All right, let's do a free play, a normal free play. All right, there's 48 people in here right now with 22 likes. I'm not going to be in here much longer. I want to see 50 likes, and we'll do a premium play. I tell you what, let me look at this real quick. I mean, I know people don't want to hear that about the Astros, but there's just, besides the Dodgers, Astros are the most talented team in baseball. I don't want to see Jose Altuve win another game, which I didn't like him beforehand. I've said that on video for 3 years running now. I've never liked Jose Altuve, that wormy little fuck. Carlos Correa, I mean, I've never been a big fan of him, but I've never disliked him. How come every time I post a question you don't respond? I don't see a question from you. I see no question from you, Luke. But Alex Bregman was my guy. I really liked Bregman. And that disappointed me. The good that come out of all this, I think that Luis Rojas getting the Mets job was fantastic. He deserved it a long time ago. That team wouldn't have what it has. It wouldn't have gotten what it has, and it wouldn't still have what it has if it wasn't for that man. So he more than deserves it. Dusty Baker getting one more shot and showing what it means to be a true purist of the game amidst a bunch of scumbags, I think is something good that will come out of it. And Carlos Beltran being outed for the piece of shit that he really is, which a lot of you have heard me talk about him over the years. Jose Altuve is reading out of his handbook. He's a scumbag, and he always has been. Anybody that was like, no, man, I can remember, man, he's always been a crybaby, whiny, cheating, sketchy little scumbag. I asked if you talked about hockey yet. I mean, I don't know what you mean. Have I talked about hockey? We've done it in general conversation. I haven't given out hockey plays. 12-17, I asked that question. Well, so far it says that I've gotten 621 notifications since I've been live. If I missed it, I apologize. I'm one person. Hey, Mr. Chester, if you don't like it, leave. We've already talked about one game today. I've asked a question about Ohio State that somebody wanted to ask. I was getting ready to give another free play on today's games. So what you're saying is irrelevant. And if you don't like the way I do things, you can exit the same way that you came in. He doesn't see your comments. You're talking about today's games. No, I didn't see it because I've got a ton of things coming through, probably overshadowed by bullshit like this. So let's see, Mr. Chester. Master, what would you like me to talk about? Let me go and get Chester taken care of since everything is revolves around him. Ryan says, I think the Cubs will do better than people think. Oh, I think the Cubs will do fine this year. Truth be told, the Cubs are the best team in the Central. I still think that it's going to be a learning curve for Ross, and I think they're still struggling on the mound. So if I had to bet my money right this second, which I won't place my wagers for my division winners until right at the end of spring training, my smart bet would still probably have to be the Cardinals. I think the sneaky team that everybody needs to pay attention to that is in the top three is the Cincinnati Reds, but I've been saying that since last year. All of my clients know the stuff I was talking about last year. The White Sox, the Reds, over and over and over and over again. But I do think the Cubs are the best team talent-wise. They've got to work out some kinks. But let's put it this way. If the Cubs won the Central this year, the NL Central, it wouldn't surprise me. It's not like everybody would be like, oh my God, look what miracle happened. Y'all see Madison Bumgarner using a fake name to rope in the offseason. I heard that. I'll be honest with you. I knew that Madison was like, a big country boy and like farming type stuff. I didn't know how obsessed he was with it until I talked to a friend of mine that used to do like internal sales for the Giants. They would do like marketing sales, so they would sell like promotional and advertising inside the stadium, inside the Giants website, all that kind of stuff. And he said that he went to Madison's house, or I think he sold it. But when he got his first like big contract in San Fran, he bought a ranch up in Northern California, about 100 miles south of Sacramento. And they said that it was like his playground. Like it wasn't for them to live or stay, and it was just his playground to go out there and play cowboy. Rivera, I redid that yesterday. I did a free play video specifically for that reason, and it was Air Force in New Mexico under 160 points, which it went under by a mile. I'll be there for both, Ryan. I'll be in Milwaukee for opening day, like their first game, and then I'll be at the first series in Wrigley. Unless they're predicting snow, then I'm not going. I've been to enough opening days where I don't need it that bad. That's the only thing that I don't like about the beginning of season is Wrigley always getting crap weather. So the Astros are getting pelted this spring. I think people are reading too much into that. Like yesterday when Bregman got hit in the back or the upper shoulder, whatever you want to consider it, that guy did not mean to hit him. I mean, he was a single A pitcher all year last year, and he threw an off-speed pitch, and you could tell by the way his foot moved at the end that he was trying to correct himself because it got away from him. If he was going to go out there and hit somebody on purpose, he wouldn't have used an off-speed breaking ball. Because even then, it's like, I hope I make contact with you. You're going to go out there and you're going to toss something at him. He didn't mean to. Not to mention, he ain't got a dog in the fight. He's a single A kid in the Reds organization. Now, Trevor Bauer may have recruited him to do it, but I don't think that kid's going to go out there spring train and do that and get that title and hurt his chances of being promoted this year to AAA. See you, Chad. So the Outfielders Anonymous logo is being done. We got it completed, the artwork, and the designer that's doing it said that they would have that. There's a couple of different renditions of it. Like it's the same logo, just kind of set differently. And then we've got a logo for, excuse me, Bleacher Bum Sports, which is my company that is going to umbrella all of those things. We got a logo for that. And then we've got like a secondary Outfielders Anonymous logo, which is the True Podcast logo. So now that we got that done and I put in trademark paperwork and all that stuff, we signed our merchandise agreement for who's going to make our merchandise. And the computer system that we have to do basic t-shirt designs and be able to submit them to the artist that would make them perfect or make them better or whatever. I played around with it last week sometime, and I created a shirt involving the Astros. I can't say what it is yet because I want the trademark paperwork to go through, which it doesn't take long. Because when I put a picture out there, I mean, any company that sells merch for a living could take that logo and have 1,000 of them printed in a matter of minutes. And I want to make sure that I'm protected because it will sell. I'm going to be giving some away here. If you are an Astros fan, you're not going to like it. But, oh well. I don't think they'll hit them very much. Everybody's taking the bet on that over. They're going to get hit more times than that. I wouldn't. I wouldn't bet it, but I'm not going to place a bet on something that is bad for the game. But if I was going to bet it, I'd take the under. Well, it got quiet in here by some people. All right. So let's do this. Let me check this line, make sure it didn't move. Oh, so people were asking about the March Madness, saying that it wasn't on the site. It's on the site. I checked it. The March Madness package is $199, but it is at the bottom of the page. So if you go to the purchase page, it is at the bottom. So $199, it says 2020 March Madness package. It comes with every premium and daily top play from the start of conference tournaments all the way through the final game of the year. And the only thing not included is games of the week, month, and year. Which I'm not even saying that I'll have any of those during that time. But NASCAR season pass is $500. I don't know if I didn't promote it well enough, but people are saying they didn't hear about the coupon code. I mean, I put the coupon code in mass emails. I'm pretty sure I did on social media. So I tell you what I'll do. Because I feel like people are telling me now that they're like, well, I didn't know about it, or I would have bought it. And it's like you get that all the time when you have a discount. They come up after the fact and want the discount. And that irritates me to no end when you give people ample opportunity and they wait until the day after and then all of a sudden they want to get the discount. And it's like, dude, nothing was going on that prevented you from taking 3 minutes out of the last week to purchase something that you know about. But anyway, so what I did, and I didn't realize that with this new system that we've got now, that you could do this. What's today's date? Oh, that's right. There it is. I put a 10% coupon code on the NASCAR season. I'm not going back and doing the discount like I did. That's not happening again this year. But 10% off, it'll save you $50. There is a limit on the coupon codes. So the first 300 people that want to use it can do so. The code is NASCAR and the number 10. NASCAR all in lowercase and then the number 10. And you just add it to that area when you go to checkout. And it will expire tomorrow. So that is done and live. I like it. Chase, you just added that March Madness to your page. I didn't see it before. Okay, well, how did people buy it? Monday and Tuesday and yesterday. Hell, Sunday people were buying it. That's strange. What's up, Matt? And if I just added it to my page, why would I be promoting it on video in detail for almost a week now? That's strange. But hey, I guess, what do I know? I just own it. I'll have to go back and tell all those people that bought it to rebuy it because they didn't actually buy it because it wasn't there before. All right, this line has moved. Oh, only at Caesars. We don't care about Caesars. I do not care about Caesars whatsoever. And I'll tell you this, Caesars has actually had some decent lines this week, guys. I don't know if any of you live in Vegas or you have runners or something like that, but line shop. If you have the ability to have multiple accounts with different books, guys, just because I put out a line via William Hill, 5 dimes for hockey, my bookie for NASCAR, that's what I use. But there are times where if okay, William Hill has it and I'm typing everything up and I'm going to make my wagers and I have an alert that comes up that says, hey, adjustment for stations or Caesars or Aria or something like that, and my runner's doing the wagers for me that day, I make a call, go bet it there. I mean, I'm not tied to anyone. And it was just like, I use my bookie for everything NASCAR. Have for over 4 years. The only time I don't use my bookie is if my runner is in Vegas for that day or that weekend, and he does it in person. And that's only because my bookie, I don't use it for anything else. And as much money as we make on these races, I'm just waiting for the day that they cut me off like DSI did, or they limit me, because that's the only thing I bet with them. I do it one time a week. I go out there and have $6,000-7,000 in action sometimes, but then you hit a plus 900 or a plus 750, something like that. Yeah, they don't like that. That's why I have to withdraw it in 3 different amounts. So I use the ticket counter when I can. But this weekend, I'm in my bookie doing my head-to-heads, and I'm sitting there, clicking on them, getting ready to do everything. And then all of a sudden, Five Dimes is open on the other side, which I was looking at hockey stuff, and something popped up, and it was, I don't remember what it was, but it was just like an alert on motorsports where, I don't remember what it was, but I opened it, and I noticed that Joey Logano was plus 825 instead of plus 750. The entire rest of the industry, every sports book offshore, every casino that takes NASCAR, they were all plus 750. And for whatever reason, Five Dimes had plus 825 at that time. So I looked at the head-to-heads. They were the exact same as my bookie as far as the odds go. So I use Five Dimes. It's rare that I use them for NASCAR. Plus, Five Dimes doesn't put out lines early enough in NASCAR, in my opinion. So don't be scared to line shop, guys. Just because we put out a line, and it is what it is, that doesn't mean that a casino or book couldn't change for whatever reason, right after that. Get the best line you can. All right, somebody asked me about this game earlier, I think. Somebody asked me about Liberty. I'm not going to give Liberty out as a play. I've got that game circled. There is one play on that game that jumped out at me almost immediately. Problem is, I don't know who's going to dress tonight for them. They dressed 2 of their typical players that dress have not dressed the past 2 games. One was dealing with the flu or the flu-like symptoms, whatever. The other one had like a mild tweaked his ankle or something, whatever. I don't know. They said that he would be out 1 to 2 games. It was seeing how he felt. From what I can see from what's going on this week, both people have practiced, and one they say is going to play. The other one is going to be. They say it's questionable. I'm waiting to see whether it drops to probable or doubtful. And I don't know that that's really going to change my overall decision on that game. But what I do think it can do, if one thing happens, which isn't very unlikely, I think we could get some movement on this game. And if everything happens the way that I'm expecting it to, the movement would go in our favor. And if it does, then I will release it as a premium as such. But I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. So I'd love to give you a play on that game, but I'm not going to. If I play that game, it'll most certainly be on the premium card. But how many likes do we have? Hold on. I may be able to give you a premium. Oh, come on. Only 36 likes? We got to get to 50 if you want a premium play. I'll tell you one game that I like. You know what? This is the premium that I want to give you guys, but you won't hurry up and get to 50 likes. Oh, we jumped up to 40 real fast, didn't we? All right, well then let's do this. I'm going to give you another strong lean, and I'll let you guys get to 50, and I'll give you the premium, and then we'll call it a day. Over 122.5, Loyola Marymount and Pacific. This game right here, these two teams, the style of play that they played in conference, they have games where they can put up points. They're not a very talented shooting team. They move the ball well, but even on games where they do shoot well, they don't take a ton of shots. Loyola and Pacific both, I mean, they're not very talented teams, but they play fundamental basketball. They don't move the ball terrible. Obviously, if they're playing top opponents, then you wouldn't see that. But if you actually go look at the way they move the ball, how they move it, the success within moving it, within playing teams more their level, then they're actually well above average. Thing is, they don't take a ton of shots because they burn a lot of possession. They eat through shot clocks like crazy. And I know that because of things like that, you would say under all day long. And when I first looked at the game, I'm just scanning through everything, I thought that as well. But then I came back and said, wait a minute. I said, these two teams are almost like oil and water. I said, it's not like it's going to happen the way it always happens with these two teams. What forces Loyola and Pacific to go out there and not burn time is when they feel pressure and they start turning the ball over. Well, turning the ball over, obviously fast breaks, whatever, we'll take that out of it. When either one of these teams throughout the season in conference play have been pressured and it's been a successful press that's put any type of true pressure on them to where they feel it. And now they're having to try to make quick decisions to avoid turnovers, to avoid steals, to avoid, setting a pick and it being illegal or getting a lane violation, which that's a big problem of Pacific's is lane violations. They don't know how to set a pick for shit and do it right. So they start moving the ball faster, more careless, but they start taking more shots. The question is, are they going to be able to have success in taking those shots? The shots are going to be taken tonight. Now, both teams could go cold, which has happened before, and we could be seeing a 52-50 game. I just believe that both teams are going to take a lot more shots. I can't believe that both of these teams are just going to go ice cold for 40 minutes. So I think we're going to see a 10 to 12 minute stretch at least where more than likely the home team goes on a nice little run. They get hot. They take some outside shots that are successful. And I think because of that, I think that Loyola is probably going to pull the upset. That would be my guess. Moneyline bet on Loyola, even though if you look at the numbers and you look at the size and speed, Pacific's the better team. But I have a feeling that Marymount's going to give them all they've got. And if I had to pick a team to get hot tonight, because both teams are going to be moving the ball quick to avoid how turnover prone they really are, I would say it would be Marymount that does so. But I think because of that, we'll get into the later hours or the later minutes of the game, and based on the numbers, you think that it's going to fall around that 110, 115 range. And in that last 10 minutes, you're going to see a 3 to 4 minute stretch of just lights out. Both teams will be hot. Marymount will be hot from outside. They'll be pushing the pace. They'll go on a run. They'll separate themselves a little bit and then try to slow the game down, back after that. But then because of fouls there at the end, which will be a close game unless Marymount figures out a way to pull away early, I see that this game gets above 130, if not more. But over 122.5, Loyola, Marymount, and Pacific. I've already bet that game too. I bet it for a half unit. I will throw more on it as more information comes in because I may also throw another half unit on Loyola, Marymount on the money line to win outright at home. Let's see if I've got any more player info for that game. Oh, I'll tell you what, guys. Play Marymount. Play Marymount. You can take the points. Let me check William Hill real quick. William Hill, they're giving Marymount plus 2.5. That would be your smarter bet. Home team. Pacific would have to win by at least 3. I think Pacific's going to lose outright. So, again, this is going to be up to you. Taking the points would obviously be smarter because you're actually getting some value in taking the points because you're actually getting more than a bucket. The only problem is I'd love to be able to get 2 possessions out of it. I'm going to bet the money line, but I'm also going to take the points too in some variation. So take the over 122.5. Take the points plus 2.5, and take the money line for Marymount to win outright. There are 3 strong leans for you, and at least one of those will end up on my card. I'm not going to say which one yet because I have a game besides that one that's already a premium play that I've already done all the research I need to do on it. I've already bet it, and that's the one that I'm going to give you guys. So let me see this. All right, we need 5 more likes. Do they even call lane violation more? They do in mid-major stuff, believe it or not, because those are, referees that are trying to get known to go, especially like out there, to be able to do some Pac-12 stuff. Lane violations happen every game. I tell you who's the world's worst with lane violations, and they never get called. And it was last night that pissed me off so bad was Virginia. Virginia, I don't know how many times I saw travel. Lane violations. They were 3 seconds in the lane over and over and over. They set 2 or 3 illegal screens inside the paint and at the top of the key. Never got called. They fouled at the end. I mean, how can you sit there and do all but lay on top of someone and not get a foul? Virginia Tech, we had them last night. And it's like I said on video yesterday, I thought they could beat them outright. They deserve to. They deserve that win. They got it taken from them, in my opinion. That freaking last, right there at the end, that 3-pointer, that bucket right there not only cost us Virginia Tech, but it cost us the over too, because it was going into overtime. Shows how somebody can throw up a ball and we can lose. We can drop you 2 games in what was going to be a good day. I mean, had that not gone in, we'd have had 2 wins go our way, and it would have been a good day. Versus what in total yesterday, I lost 2 units, or you know what I mean. 2 top plays yesterday, we split them. The NBA, I mean James Harden, I'm not going to say anything. Went 2-2 there yesterday. The Miami Heat one was, I guess, a bad call on my part. I certainly didn't expect for it to go like that and for Minnesota to actually hold their own, So, what do we got? All right, I'll get through as many of these questions as I can. Penguins screwed me yesterday. How do you lose to the Kings with a backup goalie playing? I don't know. I didn't watch the whole game. I watched the 3rd period, but from what I saw from basic highlights on NHL Network, seemed to me like Pittsburgh was skating around the whole game thinking that the game was already won and they were losing. You know who that reminds me of? The Capitals. You know who it reminded me of last year? Boston in the Stanley Cup Finals. But guess who's not doing that anymore this year? Boston. All right, let me do this. All right, we're at 49 likes, so we'll be there in just a second. I have got to piss. So I will come back, get through the rest of the comments in just a second as they keep flying in. And I don't see how comments that come in, one says that a comment was written at 107, comes in before ones that came in at 12:58. So, don't know. That's weird. All right, I'll be right back. I gotta piss. Danny, is Danny still in here? Either Danny or Keith. One of the two, because I know both of y'all were still in here. I think Scott left. I know Chad left. One of you two run the chat for a minute. I got to pee. We'll do another premium free play. I'll answer the last few questions that I can, and then I got to bounce. Be right back. All right. Let me see what I can answer real quick before we get out of here. All right. I don't even know where the hell I left off. Stuff's coming in so fast, so I'll just pick it up right here. Oh, I remember that. Do they even call lane violations anymore? Quick thoughts on the passing of Meat Man. You know, I heard that. I don't even remember where I heard it. Maybe somebody sent me an email about it. I think I checked it last night. And at first it didn't register with me. And then I have somebody that's a client of mine on NASCAR, or a client of Patrick's, but their username on the site, I'm not gonna say it, the whole thing, but it's something Meat Man, and it's no affiliation, but I guess it didn't register with me. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know the guy. I guess it's not surprising. It sounded like he smoked a carton of no filters a day. Does anybody know what he died from? Or when it happened? Or according to my overly obsessed stalkers, I get death notices before anybody in the world, so I should have known about Meat Man 6 months ago. You guys are really obsessed with what I do in the bathroom. No, I actually refilled the cup while I was at it 4 days ago. He was only 50 years old. Bullshit. Are you serious? Jesus Christ. 50 years old. Well, kids, take that as a lesson for what not to do in life. Because he looked like he had been rode hard and put up wet. Sorry, I had to turn the thermostat down. The sun finally came out today and it got hot. He probably died of dust inhalation. I remember somebody sending me a video of his, I don't know, a year or two ago, and they thought he was talking about me on something, and maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't know. It kind of seemed that way, but I was watching it, and like the stuff in the background was stuff from like the 1970s that had not been dusted in I mean, it was disgusting. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, dust your fucking house. That's so gross. 50 years old. I can't even wrap my brain around that. All right. Let's check this line and see if we have any movement. And if not, I'll go ahead and give you this. The William Hill app is moving with a quickness today. All right. I've got two. Let's get a quick consensus of the room here. Side or total? Danny, you know who your uncle the meat man is? No, quit playing. Your 50-year-old Uncle Meat Man. Dave Scandaliato, or I think that's what his last name is. Damn, everybody wants a side. Okay. As much as we've been killing totals lately, I've given out more totals in the past 3 days than I have in the last month combined. And we are murdering the totals. Killing them. I mean, they're not even close. I mean, we've lost a couple of them. But, like, top play yesterday on the Air Force total. I don't even think it came within 20 points of it. So 10 people already have jumped in and given their vote, and every single one of them have said side. So I guess that's what we'll go with. I feel like this one should be obvious to everyone, but again, I don't guess I should assume anything. Oh, there's finally two totals. Side with total. Nice try. All right, I got to roll, and hopefully, when I get out of here or when I close this out, the phone call that I'm getting ready to make is going to confirm that we got our NASCAR package approved, which will be a full 4-pack, pit passes, infield passes, hotel stay, everything that we're going to be giving away for a race. And if we get the approval, all I need is a confirmation number, and we will start the contest now. So you'll be able to win that, and I'll announce the race once I get confirmation that we've gotten it. So, for some reason, rooting for a team seems more exciting than rooting for offense or defense. Yeah, but that's very degenerate, what you just said, because you shouldn't be rooting for anything other than money. That's why I tell a lot of I've got one client in particular that cannot stop watching every single thing that I give out. If he can't watch it, he's sitting there on his phone refreshing it like crazy. There's no emotion to this, guys. If it was emotional for me, I would just want to watch Cubs baseball and Tar Heels basketball for the rest of my life. Everything else could just go away for all I care. But there's no emotion. I bet Louisville against North Carolina this past weekend had Louisville. I didn't watch it. Sure, I don't want to pull against my team, but I have no emotion. Money has no it has no emotion. It has no feelings. So I told him, I said, the best thing you can do is just not watch anything. Take the games, place the bets, go live your life and do something else, because you know good and damn well you truly don't care who wins 90% of what I give out other than the fact you have money on it. I said, you get too stressed out, you're taking years off your life. Let it be what it is. Check it the next day or later that night, whatever. I said, check it the next morning. That way it doesn't affect your sleep on those bad days that everybody's going to have a bad day. So if you have a bad day and you check it at 11 p.m. before you go to bed, you're not going to sleep that good. Check it the next morning. And at the end of the week, when you realize you've made money, and at the end of the month, when you realize you've made a lot of money, and at the end of the year, when you realize that, holy shit, look how much money I've made, you'll realize that stressing over it is not only not going to help you, it's stupid. All right, so side play. I feel like this should be obvious, but this is a complete mismatch. The teams themselves are not so far apart when you look at the grand scheme of everything, but neither team has a true point guard. They have one of them actually has three guys that can run point per se. No true point guard, no true leader, as in how to set teams up on offense. You have one team that, per my rankings, even though they have 4 whole wins, is literally ranked out of 353 Division I teams. They are ranked 346 out of 353. And I mean, there are teams that have 2 wins, 1 win, that are ranked higher than them. This team is not good. They are not good at all. The thing about tonight is they're going up against another team that's really, truth be told, not that great. But they're above 500. Their schedule's really helped them out this year because they've played absolutely no one. That's Merrimack. Old Massachusetts mid-major. I watched them play baseball this past weekend against Michigan State, which they slaughtered Michigan State in the doubleheader on this past Saturday. Even though the score was close in that second game, they worked Michigan State. I mean, they worked them. And their third baseman is a fucking stud. The fact that he's playing mid-major baseball is beyond me. Like, I don't understand why. I haven't seen another D1 third baseman in the last 3 years that I've seen play like that kid. He will not graduate before he gets drafted. He might get drafted in late rounds, but he will get drafted. But this team here, in the key positions that actually generate offense for both of these teams because the defenses are non-existent, I mean, you have... Let me grab my pen. You got Baker that only shoots 34% overall. He scores about 8 points a game. Lord scores 10 points a game, shooting 35.1%. Their free throw percentages are average for the team. I mean, for Central Connecticut, they're below 65%, which is not good. Merrimack's actually sitting above 80. Central Connecticut fouls a lot. They're just young, dumb, and lanky. It's like they're walking around with bricks in their shoes. They can't do anything. They reach in. I think that, truth be told, I don't think that anybody went out and actually recruited these kids, they found them walking around campus and were saying like, hey, you're tall enough. You want to play basketball? And they're like, yeah, sure. You teach me? That's what I believe happened with this school. Merrimack's actually a team that, depending on how they develop these younger guys, they may very well be someone that gets a tournament berth in the next few years. I mean, they're 19 and 11, so they're not terrible, but a lot of that is manufactured due to their, cupcake of a schedule. Playing mid-majors is one, but playing out of the bottom 10 teams in all of D1 basketball, you've played 4 of them. So the line here is, what did William Hill say it was? Because it went up a half point. All right, it's at 15.5 now in favor of Merrimack. I did the numbers over and over and over again. And I took out certain things. I took out players that may end up sitting, that may not dress, that may only get to play 2 minutes. And the lowest line that I could get, and this is me not giving any points for home court advantage, anything. The lowest line that I can even justify giving is minus 19.5. The accurate line that I came up with for, per average was 22. I'll take 15.5 all day long. Because Merrimack's also one of those teams that, when they have success, if you can go back and look at all their games, they have success when they pull away. They run plays, they set themselves up, they score goals, they play tight defense, they'll run a full court press, and they'll run a very, very annoying 3-2 zone and hug the top of that key. It's not going to be hard to stop this team. So when they get on a 10 to 12 point little run and they can separate themselves, they remove the press, they go man to man, and they fly up and down the court. They don't have a ton of success at it, but they fly up and down the court, which means that they'll get some points, they'll start creating some more separation, and then what's going to happen? When Central Connecticut runs out of gas, let's say in the last 8-9 minutes of the game when they have nothing left, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to run up and down the court even more. They're going to get wide open shots through the lane. They're going to drive in. They're going to separate themselves even more. And then Central Connecticut's going to also start fouling for no reason, which they do every game. They can be down by 30 with 2 minutes to go, and they will still continue to foul. They played in a game 2 weeks ago where it was the only game of the season that they had not gotten, they were not hitting, they had not given their opponents, they had not put them in the double bonus. Only time. They were down 24 with 3.5 minutes to go. And they had only given up 2 fouls in the second half. They went from that to double bonus before the game ended. For what? Game's over. So what do you think happened? But 15.5, I'll tell you this, unless there's, something going on that I'm not seeing and that they're not telling anybody, or that is just going to be 100% private information under lock and key until the game starts tonight, this line's off. I get that Merrimack's 19 and 11 is a completely manufactured record that shouldn't deserve a lot of credit, and I'm very well aware of that. That's why I'm saying it. But 15.5 to a bottom 5 team, or, a bottom 8 team, is just unacceptable. So I'm going to take it. If something happens and the game starts and I realize that their starting 5 has been shipped off, to become sex slaves in Russia or something, then I will then hedge my bet. And I will do something I never do, which is live bet. But I don't think that's going to happen. I confidently already wagered this game for a normal one-dime play. I suggest that you put your normal premium wager on it. And then if you want the rest of the premiums, including the total that I've already locked in, as well as what the top play and or plays will be tonight, go jump on a package. $50 for 3 days, 7 days for $99. $2.99 for 30 days, the best in the business. And that's it. Unless you want to get something long term. If you want to do a true long term package, let me know. Send me an email. We'll figure out something. I'll toss you a coupon code or something to save you 10-20% or something. Other than that, March Madness is $1.99 and the NASCAR is $4.99. And then the coupon code for the NASCAR is NASCAR all in lowercase and then the number 10. That will be valid until tomorrow at midnight. All right, see you.